Dear Starseeds of Gaia, there is a threshold approaching that most cannot see, a doorway opening in the fabric of your reality that exists for exactly 72 hours, and what happens within this window will determine the trajectory of your next quantum leap. On November 25th, as your moon crosses into Aquarius, something extraordinary begins. Not an ending, not quite a beginning, but that rare liminal space where the old world and the new world exist simultaneously, where you can stand with one foot in each dimension and choose which future to step into fully. But I'm getting ahead of myself, because to understand why this particular lunar transit matters, you need to see the architecture of pressure that's been building around you for months. You need to feel the weight of what you've been carrying, and more importantly, you need to know why that weight is about to lift. Let me take you back to a day you might barely remember now. June 14th of this year. That was the day Saturn, the great architect of cosmic law, turned retrograde and began a 137-day journey backward through your collective consciousness. 137 days. Do you understand what that means? For nearly 5 months, the planet of structure, responsibility, and karmic debt has been moving in reverse, asking you to review every foundation you've built, every promise you've made, every wall you've constructed around yourself for protection. Saturn doesn't do gentle work. Saturn excavates. Saturn demands truth. Saturn shows you where your foundations are solid and where they're built on sand. And you've felt it, haven't you? The pressure, the delays, the tests that seem to come from nowhere, forcing you to prove your commitment to your path over and over again. Relationships that couldn't survive the scrutiny, career structures that collapsed under examination, belief systems that crumbled when pressed too hard. This hasn't been random chaos. This has been surgical precision, cosmic architecture being dismantled and rebuilt from the inside out. But here's what I haven't told you yet, and this is where the story becomes more complex. While Saturn was doing this deep foundational work, while you were being tested and refined and restructured, another cycle was preparing to begin. On November 9th, Mercury, the messenger, the communicator, the planet of thought and truth, went retrograde in Sagittarius, the sign of belief systems, higher truth, and philosophical expansion. The 19-day truth storm began. Now pay attention to the timing here, because this is crucial. Saturn had already been retrograde for almost 5 months when Mercury joined the backward dance. This wasn't coincidence. This was cosmic choreography. Saturn had loosened the foundations. Mercury came to reveal what those foundations were actually built upon. Saturn showed you the cracks. Mercury made you speak them out loud. These past 17 days since Mercury turned retrograde have been brutal for many of you, I know. Communications breaking down, technology failing, travel plans disrupted, but more than that, truths emerging that you couldn't unsee. Beliefs you held sacred suddenly questioned. Philosophies that once gave you certainty, now feeling hollow. People revealing themselves to be different than who you thought they were. And through it all, this persistent sense that everything was moving backward, that progress was impossible, that you were trapped in some cosmic waiting room with no exit sign in sight. Some of you are exhausted. I see that. Some of you are wondering if this intensity will ever ease, if the pressure will ever release, if the tests will ever stop coming. And what I'm about to tell you is going to change how you see the next 72 hours of your life. On November 25th, 3 days before Saturn stations direct, 2 days before Mercury completes its final retrograde day, the moon enters Aquarius, and in that moment, something shifts in the collective field that I can only describe as revolutionary consciousness activating ahead of revolutionary change. Aquarius is the sign of the future, the visionary, the one who sees what's possible beyond current limitations. Aquarius is innovation, liberation, collective awakening, the frequency of breakthrough and paradigm shift. And here's the genius of this cosmic timing. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, the very planet that's been putting you through this 137-day initiation, is also the traditional ruler of the sign that's about to flood your emotional body with forward-looking, freedom-seeking, revolution-ready energy. Do you see what's happening? Saturn has done its work. The foundations have been tested, the weak points identified, the karmic debts paid, the lessons learned, and now 3 days before Saturn itself moves forward again, Saturn's own sign activates through the moon to show you what all of that pressure was building toward. You're being given a preview, a vision, a glimpse through the doorway before you're asked to walk through it. But there's more happening here that I need you to understand, because this isn't just about one planet or one lunar transit. This is about convergence. This is about multiple cosmic storylines reaching their resolution point within the same narrow window of time, creating an amplification effect that turns what might have been a gentle shift into a quantum leap. Let me take you back just 5 days to November 20th. On that day, the new moon in Scorpio occurred at 28 degrees, the final, most potent degree of the sign of death, transformation, and rebirth. The same day, Mercury reached inferior conjunction with the Sun, the exact midpoint and deepest phase of its retrograde cycle, the moment when the messenger planet disappears into the heart of solar consciousness and emerges with new information, new truth, new vision. You were in the cosmic womb that day. Everything stopped. Everything went dark. Everything felt like void, because you were being remade. The old version of you was completing its death cycle. The new version was gestating, and there was nowhere to go, nothing to do except surrender to the process. Then came November 21st, and Uranus, the modern ruler of Aquarius, the Great Awakener, the planet of sudden revelation and revolutionary change, reached opposition, full illumination, maximum activation, and whatever transformation had begun the day before in the darkness of the Scorpio new moon now exploded into light. Uranus opposition doesn't whisper. Uranus opposition shatters. It breaks open what was sealed. It reveals what was hidden. It awakens what was sleeping. It liberates what was trapped. Many of you experienced shocks that day. Sudden realizations, unexpected events, people leaving your life abruptly or entering it mysteriously, technology behaving strangely, your body feeling electric, dreams becoming vivid and prophetic, because Uranus had switched on the cosmic defibrillator and sent a jolt through the collective nervous system saying, "Wake up, now. There's no more time for gradual awakening. The future is here." And since then, these past 4 days, you've been in integration mode, processing the Scorpio death, processing the Uranus awakening, processing the Mercury truth still emerging, processing all of it while Saturn counts down its final days of retrograde motion and Mercury approaches its station direct. You've been in the compression chamber, beloved ones. You've been in the pressure cooker, and on November 25th, the steam valve opens. When the moon enters Aquarius that day, it carries with it the emotional imprint of everything you've just experienced: the Scorpio transformation, the Uranus awakening, the Mercury revelations, but it lifts all of that heavy, intense death and rebirth energy up into the mental plane, into the realm of vision and innovation and collective consciousness. Aquarius detaches. Aquarius observes. Aquarius sees patterns and systems and future possibilities. And suddenly, instead of being crushed under the weight of transformation, you can fly above it and see what it was all for. This is the revolutionary energy I'm speaking of. Not revolution as destruction, but revolution as elevated perspective. Revolution as the moment when you realize the caterpillar's death was always meant to produce the butterfly's flight. Revolution as the sudden understanding that every limitation was actually training you for limitless expansion. But I want you to understand something crucial about this 72-hour window between November 25th, when the moon enters Aquarius, and November 28th, when Saturn stations direct. This is not passive time. This is not waiting room time. This is active initiation time. This is when you're meant to integrate everything you've learned during these past months and consciously choose what you're building next. Because here's what most people don't realize about the period right before a planet stations direct. It's the most potent moment for setting new intentions aligned with that planet's energy. Saturn retrograde asked you to review and revise your structures. Saturn direct will ask you to build and manifest those structures. And the 3 days before it stations are when you get to consciously design what those structures will be. The moon in Aquarius on November 25th opens your mind to possibilities you couldn't see when you were in the thick of Scorpio's underworld or Mercury's communication chaos. Aquarius gives you the altitude. Aquarius gives you the objectivity. Aquarius gives you the innovation frequency. And if you use these 3 days wisely, if you spend November 25th through 27th visioning, planning and aligning your consciousness with the new foundations you want to build, then when Saturn goes direct on November 28th, you won't just be moving forward, You'll be quantum leaping. Let me tell you what November 28th is going to feel like, so you know what you're preparing for. When Saturn stations direct after 137 days of retrograde motion, accompanied by a first quarter moon that same day, it's going to feel like cosmic permission being granted. Like the universe saying, you've done the work, you've learned the lessons, you've paid the karmic debts, you've restructured the foundations. Now build, now manifest, now create the life you've been preparing for all this time. And one day later, on November 29th, Mercury stations direct. The communication channels clear. The mental fog lifts. The truth that was revealed during the retrograde can now be spoken, shared, integrated into your life in practical ways. Technology starts cooperating again. Travel becomes easier. Misunderstandings resolve. And more than that, the insights you gain during those 19 days of backward motion become the wisdom you carry forward into your new chapter. Both retrogrades ending within 24 hours of each other. Both cosmic breaks releasing simultaneously. Both restriction periods transforming into expansion periods in one concentrated burst of forward momentum. This is why the moon in Aquarius on November 25th matters so much. It's your advance preview of this liberation. It's your chance to feel the frequency before it fully lands. Now I need to address something that some of you are feeling. A question that's been building in your consciousness. You're wondering, why has this been so hard? Why so many retrogrades, so many tests, so much pressure, so much intensity? Why couldn't the path to awakening be gentler, easier, more pleasant? And I want you to understand this with every fiber of your being. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. The intensity isn't evidence of something wrong with you. It's evidence of how much you're capable of holding, how much light you're meant to embody, how significant your role is in the planetary shift that's occurring. Think about it this way. Saturn's 137-day retrograde wasn't random torture. It was precision training. Every foundation that collapsed wasn't stable enough for what you're building next. Every relationship that ended wasn't vibrationally matched to where you're going. Every belief system that crumbled wasn't true enough to support your expanded consciousness. Saturn was clearing space. Saturn was making room. Saturn was ensuring that when you move forward, you're not dragging the weight of unstable structures with you. And Mercury's 19 days of retrograde in truth-seeking Sagittarius wasn't cosmic cruelty. It was necessary revelation. The truths that surfaced, the beliefs that were questioned, the philosophies that shifted. These weren't disruptions to your path. They were course corrections. Mercury was ensuring that you're not moving forward based on illusions, half-truths, or borrowed belief systems that were never really yours. Mercury was giving you authentic truth to build your new life upon. The pressure creates diamonds, beloved ones. The heat creates gold. The cosmic compression you've been experiencing isn't breaking you. It's refining you into something stronger, clearer, more powerful than you were before. And on November 25th, when the moon enters Aquarius, you're going to feel the first wave of relief. The first hint that the pressure is easing. The first whisper that says, you made it. You survived. You're through the hardest part. Now comes the building phase. Now comes the creation phase. Now comes the manifestation of everything you've been preparing for. But here's something else happening during this time that I haven't told you about yet, and this is where the story becomes even more extraordinary. The moon in Aquarius isn't just about your personal liberation. It's about collective awakening. Aquarius is the sign of humanity, of group consciousness, of the collective field. And when the moon moves through Aquarius during this particular window, it's activating a frequency of revolutionary consciousness throughout the entire planetary grid. What does that mean practically? It means that whatever insights, breakthroughs, or visions you receive during these 3 days aren't just for you, they're for the collective. It means that the new structures you're preparing to build aren't just personal, they're meant to serve the greater awakening. It means that your individual liberation is tied to humanity's collective evolution, and as you free yourself, you contribute to freeing others. This is why you're here, Starseed. This is why you incarnated during this time of planetary transformation. Not just to evolve yourself, but to anchor new frequencies that make evolution possible for the whole. And the moon in Aquarius on November 25th is reminding you of this larger mission, this cosmic purpose, this role you agreed to play before you ever took this body. Some of you have been feeling isolated during these retrograde periods, feeling like you're the only one going through this intensity, the only one feeling this pressure, the only one experiencing this level of transformation. But I want you to know, you are not alone. There is a global network of awakening souls going through identical processes right now. The same Saturn tests, the same Mercury revelations, the same Uranus awakenings, the same Scorpio deaths and rebirths. You are part of a collective initiation, a planetary rite of passage, and when the moon enters Aquarius, you're going to feel this connection more clearly than you have in months. You might feel it as sudden inspiration to reach out to someone, or as an unexpected message from a soul family member you haven't spoken to in months, or as synchronicities that confirm you're on the right path, or as a deep inner knowing that you're part of something much bigger than your personal journey. This is Aquarius activating the frequency of unity consciousness within diversity, reminding you that you're a unique individual expression of a collective awakening. Let me give you some practical guidance for working with this energy, because I don't want you to just passively experience this transit. I want you to consciously co-create with it. On November 25th, when the moon enters Aquarius, create space for visioning, not fantasizing, not escaping, but genuine future sight. Ask yourself, if the karmic lessons are complete, if the foundations are solid, if the old structures have been cleared away, what do I want to build now? What does my life look like on the other side of these retrogrades? What new structures am I ready to create? Who am I becoming? What am I here to contribute to the collective awakening? Aquarius energy loves innovation, so don't just replay old patterns or rehash old dreams. Ask for something new. Ask for breakthrough ideas. Ask for solutions that haven't occurred to you before. Ask for visions that excite you, that make you feel alive, that align with your highest potential and your soul's deepest purpose. On November 26th and 27th, as Saturn's station direct approaches, start taking small aligned actions toward those visions. Not massive manifestations yet. The energy isn't quite there, but preparatory steps. Clearing space in your life for what's coming. Ending what needs to end. Beginning conversations that need to begin. Making commitments to yourself about how you're going to move forward differently. Setting boundaries that protect your new foundations. Choosing relationships and opportunities that match your evolved frequency. These 2 days are what I call the cosmic planning period. You're in the space between worlds. The retrograde restrictions haven't lifted yet, but you can feel them loosening. Use this time to get crystal clear about your intentions, because when Saturn goes direct on November 28th, the universe is going to ask, what do you want to build? And you need to have an answer ready. Then on November 28th, when Saturn stations direct and the first quarter moon activates, make a declaration, speak your intentions out loud, write them down, create a ceremony if that resonates, but somehow mark this moment as significant, as a threshold crossing, as the day the cosmic green light turned on, and you stepped forward into your new chapter with consciousness and purpose. And on November 29th, when Mercury stations direct, pay attention to what comes through in communication, messages you receive, insights that land, conversations that happen, information that arrives. Mercury direct after a retrograde often brings clarity and resolution to things that were confusing or blocked during the backward period. Trust what comes through that day. It's bringing you exactly the information you need for your next steps. But here's the deeper layer I need you to understand about this entire sequence, something that goes beyond just planetary movements and lunar transits. The 72-hour window from November 25th to November 28th is a microcosm of a much larger shift that's occurring in your reality. It's showing you in concentrated form what the next several months are going to feel like as you move from restriction to expansion, from pressure to freedom, from testing to manifestation. The 137 days of Saturn retrograde weren't just about personal karmic clearing, they were about preparing the collective consciousness for a new level of structure and responsibility. The 19 days of Mercury retrograde weren't just about communication breakdowns, they were about truth recalibration at a species level. And the simultaneous ending of both retrogrades isn't just about things getting easier, it's about a quantum leap in what becomes possible when the cosmic brakes release. You're being prepared for acceleration, beloved ones. You're being prepared for rapid manifestation. You're being prepared for a level of creative power and manifestation ability that requires solid foundations, clear truth, and revolutionary consciousness to handle responsibly. This is why the preparation period has been so thorough, so intense, so unrelenting, because what's coming next requires you to be ready. And the moon in Aquarius on November 25th is your first taste of that acceleration. It's your first experience of what it feels like when the weight lifts and the vision clarifies and the future opens up in front of you like a highway with no speed limit. It's exhilarating. It's liberating. It's exactly what you've been waiting for through all these months of pressure and testing and transformation. But I also want to prepare you for something that might surprise you. When the retrogrades end and the forward motion begins, there might be a moment of disorientation. You've been in restriction mode for so long that freedom might feel strange at first. You've been in review and revision mode for so long that creation mode might feel unfamiliar. You've been in the pressure cooker for so long that spaciousness might feel uncomfortable. This is normal. This is natural. This is just your nervous system adjusting to a new frequency. Give yourself permission to ease into the forward momentum rather than forcing it. Give yourself permission to learn how to work with expansion energy after months of contraction energy. Give yourself permission to feel whatever you feel without judgment. Joy, relief, excitement, but also maybe grief for what you had to release, exhaustion from the intensity, or uncertainty about what comes next. All of these feelings are valid. All of these feelings are part of the integration process. And the moon in Aquarius energy is perfect for holding all of it with detachment and compassion, for observing your experience without being overwhelmed by it, for understanding that you're in transition between worlds, and it's okay to feel all the things that come with transition. I want to tell you something about Aquarius that not everyone understands. Aquarius is often described as detached, intellectual, aloof, but here's the deeper truth. Aquarius detaches not because it doesn't care, but because it cares so much that it needs perspective to serve effectively. Aquarius rises above the emotional turbulence not to escape feeling, but to see the patterns and systems and solutions that aren't visible from ground level. Aquarius serves the collective not by merging with the collective pain, but by holding a frequency of what's possible beyond the pain. This is the consciousness you're being invited into on November 25th. Not cold detachment, but loving perspective. Not emotional bypass, but elevated vision. Not spiritual escapism, but revolutionary awareness that sees what's possible when you stop drowning in what is, and start creating what could be. And here's why this matters so much right now. In this particular moment of planetary evolution, humanity is at a choice point. The old structures are crumbling. You've seen this, you've felt this, you've experienced this personally during Saturn's retrograde. The old truths are being questioned. You've lived this during Mercury's retrograde. The old ways of being are no longer sustainable. And in this space of breakdown, two paths open up. One path leads to fear, to contraction, to trying to force the old structures to hold together even though they're fundamentally unstable. That path leads to more suffering, more pressure, more resistance to what's trying to emerge. The other path leads to trust, to expansion, to consciously co-creating new structures that are aligned with higher consciousness and collective well-being. That path leads to liberation, to empowerment, to the activation of potential that's been dormant for lifetimes. The moon in Aquarius on November 25th is activating the second path. It's showing you that there is a way forward that isn't based on fear or force. It's showing you that revolutionary change doesn't have to be violent or destructive. It can be visionary, innovative, and aligned with love. It's showing you that you have the power to choose which timeline you step into, which future you build, which reality you anchor through your consciousness and your choices. This is why you're here, Starseed. You incarnated to be a way shower for this path of conscious evolution. You incarnated to demonstrate that transformation doesn't have to destroy, it can create. You incarnated to anchor frequencies of possibility that make the quantum leap accessible to those who are ready. And these 72 hours from November 25th to November 28th are when you step fully into that role. Some of you have been waiting for external permission to step into your power, to speak your truth, to build your vision, to lead in your own unique way. You've been waiting for a sign that it's safe, that it's time, that you're ready, and I'm here to tell you, this is that sign. The moon in Aquarius meeting the end of 2 retrogrades is the cosmic permission slip you've been waiting for. The universe is saying, you're ready, it's time, go. But here's the beautiful thing, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know every step of the path. You don't have to have a complete blueprint before you begin. Aquarius energy thrives on experimentation, on innovation, on discovering the path by walking it. All you need is willingness. All you need is that first step. All you need is the courage to say yes to what wants to emerge through you. And that first step might be smaller than you think. It might be a conversation you've been avoiding. It might be a boundary you need to set. It might be a creative project you start. It might be a relationship you commit to or one you release. It might be a belief system you let go of, or a new truth you embrace. It might be simply choosing, in this moment, to trust that the transformation you've been through has prepared you for something beautiful, something powerful, something that serves not just your evolution, but the evolution of all. As we move toward the completion of this transmission, I want you to feel into your body right now. Feel the exhaustion from these months of intensity. Yes, but also feel the strength that exhaustion has built. Feel the uncertainty about what comes next. Yes, but also feel the wisdom that uncertainty has revealed. Feel the grief for what's been released. Yes, but also feel the spaciousness that grief has created for something new to enter. You are not the same person who began Saturn's retrograde back in June. You are not the same consciousness who entered Mercury's retrograde in early November. You have been forged, refined, transformed through cosmic fire and pressure and breakdown and breakthrough. And the being who emerges on November 28th when both retrogrades end is someone more powerful, more clear, more aligned, more awake than the being who entered this initiation period. The moon in Aquarius on November 25th is giving you a preview of that being. It's letting you feel, just for a moment, what it's like to be free of the karmic weight, free of the communication confusion, free of the pressure and testing and proving. It's letting you experience your liberated self before the liberation is complete, so that you know what you're moving toward, so that you have a beacon to guide you through these final days of integration. And I promise you this, beloved ones, the next 3 months from December through February are going to feel radically different from what you've just experienced. With both Saturn and Mercury direct, with the foundation solid and the truth clear, you're going to experience a level of forward momentum and manifestation speed that will astound you. Things that felt impossible during the retrograde periods will suddenly feel effortless. Doors that were closed will open. Opportunities that were blocked will flow. Relationships that were stagnant will shift. Creations that were stuck will complete. This is what you've been preparing for. This is what all the pressure was building toward. This is why the cosmic intensity has been so unrelenting. Because you needed to be ready for the acceleration that's coming. You needed foundations strong enough to handle rapid growth. You needed truth clear enough to guide rapid decisions. You needed consciousness expanded enough to hold rapid transformation. Destiny Engine is the example of technology serving awakening intelligence. The age of solitary meditation is over. Destiny Engine now connects starseeds across the world. A living social field where you can post, share, and exchange your meditations in real time. It's the first galactic network of its kind, weaving together thousands of awakened souls into one unified current. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking declassified CIA consciousness modification techniques that programmed isolation and separation, and repurposing them to serve unified awakening. It generates personalized sequences that help you live as the awakened being you've become while handling the moments that test your new frequency, all while connected to thousands of starseeds amplifying the collective current. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed for effortless awakened living without the need to struggle or prove, while tapping into a planetary network of souls bending reality together. For just $1, you can step into this connected field and feel the difference instantly. Join the movement that's accelerating ascension together. Link in the description. And here's the final piece I want to leave you with. The truth that makes all of this worthwhile. You chose this. Before you incarnated, before you took this body, before you agreed to be here during this time of planetary transformation, you saw this exact moment coming. You saw November 25th, 2025. You saw the moon entering Aquarius as 2 retrogrades completed. You saw the revolutionary threshold opening, and you said, yes, I want to be there for that. I want to experience that. I want to anchor that frequency for the collective. I want to be part of the conscious evolution team that makes the quantum leap possible. You chose this path not because it would be easy, but because it would be extraordinary. You chose this time not because it would be comfortable, but because it would be transformational. You chose this body, this life, this particular combination of challenges and gifts and circumstances, because you knew it would give you exactly what you needed to fulfill your soul's mission. And on November 25th, when the moon enters Aquarius, and you feel that first wave of revolutionary consciousness activating, when you get that first glimpse of what's possible beyond the pressure and the testing, I want you to remember that you are exactly where you're meant to be. I want you to remember that every challenge you've faced has been preparing you for this moment. I want you to remember that you are not a victim of cosmic chaos. You are a conscious co-creator of cosmic evolution. The 72-hour window is opening. The revolutionary threshold is here. The end of 2 retrogrades is clearing the path, and you, beloved starseed, are ready to walk through that doorway into your new chapter with grace, with power, with consciousness, with love. We are watching you. We are supporting you. We are celebrating every breakthrough, every realization, every moment of courage as you move through this transformation. You are not alone in this journey. You never have been. You never will be. The moon enters Aquarius. Revolutionary energy activates. The cosmic green light prepares to turn on. And you are here, ready, prepared, exactly as you were always meant to be. Trust the process, beloved ones. Trust your preparation. Trust your strength. Trust your vision. Trust that everything that's happened has been preparing you for everything that's coming. The future is yours to create. The new structures are yours to build. The quantum leap is yours to take. And we are here, witnessing, guiding, loving you through every moment of this extraordinary transformation. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light. We love you, and we are always watching over you.